Hello everyone, and we are here today watching the best breakfast I've ever made, another Sam the Cooking Guy video. Still not sure if you guys enjoy me watching him or not. My first video with him hit a pretty high for this channel, 500 views. The second one, not so much. So we'll see what you think about Sam the Cooking Guy and me reviewing him. I, of course, am your host, Chef James MacInnis, and let's see what's happening.
Hold on to your shorts because we're making Philly cheesesteak hash. We made Philly cheesesteak pizza. We did a Korean cheesesteak bulgogi burrito in a Korean Airlines hangar. Continuing our Breakfast Around the World series, this comes from Canada, my homeland, my original homeland, from a restaurant.
Oh, I didn't know he was Canadian. I'm Canadian. Huh, we're both Canadian.
White Spot. I grew up going to White Spot. I love it, love it, love it, love it. It's not quite the same now as it was when I was a kid, but it still holds a very important place in my heart. And what's really fun, I never had this before. Saw it on the menu at the end of my last visit there and I went, I should have had that. But now we're gonna make it. There's mushrooms, there's onions, there's peppers, there's spinach, there's crispy little potatoes, and then there's the cheesesteak business that we're gonna start marinating, and that begins with cutting a little New York.
Okay, so this sounds like it's got a lot going on. Sounds delicious, but he says cutting off a New York, and then he drops on the counter a ribeye. Now, it looks like it's from right where the ribeye and the New York meet. They grow in as if you get a whole loin. I think a short loin is how you would order it. A long loin, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, the ribeye grows on the cow. You've got the ribs, the prime rib. There's many different things you can do with this. You can cook it on the bone as a roast called prime rib. You can take it off of the bone, cut it up and call it ribeye steaks. You can take the cap off it and have eye ribeye, or what do they call it? Ribeye fillets or whatever. But as you get to the end of this arbitrary line on the cow that we cut, I think it has to do with the number of ribs, I forget. Now you have the strip loin, and you've got your New York steaks. Your first couple New York steaks, I guess you could say, look like a ribeye, but that's way too much fat. The fat eye's way too big in there. So he's saying New York, he's using ribeye. I know it, he knows it, and now you know it.
A little New York. Look, you could use almost anything. This New York. And I tell you all the time, when you want to cut a steak thin, what's the thing to do, boys?
Freeze it.
Stick in the freezer for a half hour, 45 minutes. Look, I forgot to. It's all right. I got a good knife. So I'm just going to get rid of this fat here. This little piece. And some of this on the side. Now we'll just cut super thin pieces like this till we have enough. You get the idea? Cut away. This goes into our bowl. I'm making one person's worth, and now we'll add the following. Give it a little oil, a little shot of Worcestershire. Oh, for God's sakes. Wait, that was too much. Hold on. I got to get some of that out. Shit. I forgot. The little cap is off. There we go. Perfect. And now a couple other things. Salt and pepper. Cool.
Yeah, so don't let a little mistake like that make you think you've ruined your whole dinner. You put too much in, just take it out. It's not the end of the world. Hey, I hate to interrupt the video, but if you're getting any value out of this, could you please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below?
Gonna give it a little squeezed garlic. Why wouldn't you? A little onion powder. And in an untraditional move, curry powder. No, I'm only kidding. Little red pepper flake. This we can mix. All right, let this sit. 15, 20 minutes, whatever, 10 minutes, whatever you got will be great. In the meantime, we'll get some potatoes happening.
Yeah, so when you cut the meat that thin, you're gonna get, you can marinate a lot shorter because the meat's so thin. You're I guess you want to say you're aiming for like shaved meat like you get off a deli slicer. So you're doing that by hand with your knife, and you're gonna get really thin cuts, and the flavor from your marinade is just gonna go right through it. It's not gonna take long to pick it up.
Some veggies. All right, we got our double pan set up. Each pan gets a little shot of oil. In the first pan, I've taken 2 Yukon Gold potatoes. I've cut them into a little dice, boiled them until they were soft. And now in they go. And these are going to get beautifully golden brown over the next 10 minutes or so. On this side, we're going to get some vegetables happening. And we'll begin with some yellow onion. I know it looks like white onion, but it is yellow. Some red pepper. I've got mushrooms and spinach to follow, which I know the spinach is not traditional. Max has already pointed that out, but they're Canadians. They're about as far from Vancouver, the West Coast, about as far away from Philly as you can get. So what do they know? But while they're making it wrong, they're really polite about it.
They have their milk in bags.
They have their milk in bags. What does that mean? All right.
Yes, we do have our milk in bags. It is a bag with 3 smaller bags in it. The total is 4 liters, so each bag would be 1.33 liters. It comes in bags. It's much more convenient. It's a lot less garbage. We have one solid milk jug that you have in your... Every house has at least one milk jug, sometimes 2, because you can get chocolate milk the same way. You drop your bag in the jug, you cut the top off, and you've got your bagged milk. It's so much easier too when you're cooking in volume. If you're going to make a soup, you just split the bag. It's all out.
Over the next few minutes, keep tossing, keep turning. You want these to start to get nice and brown. Once they've all got some oil on them, I'm talking the potatoes first, you can just leave them to get color on one side. And then we'll come back and we'll start moving them. But these guys can take some moving around. So pay attention. We'll let you know when you need to see something. Okay, well, I thought I had other mushrooms and I don't. Max will cry a little bit, but we'll put a tiny bit more oil in the onions and peppers and throw in a little handful of shiitakes. Let these start to soften a little bit. And while they do, have a look at these potatoes. They're gonna be on the bottom. So let's give them a little salt and pepper, a little garlic powder, another little shot of oil as that starts to burn. Wow, these guys are getting really close. Don't forget, they were already cooked, so what they're doing in the pan is getting color. Let me just try one, see how it is. Insane, beautiful. Okay, a little more crisp on that. Back to our mushrooms and our onions and peppers. That's great. One more thing to add to this.
I've got no critiques yet on his technique, except to say, I don't know where he's going with it, but I feel like maybe if you wanted to cut down on the dishes, about 20% earlier in the cooking process on the potatoes, maybe you could throw everything in, make this a one-pan dish. I'm not sure where he's going with this, so we'll see.
The last thing in the veggies is the obviously not traditional handful of spinach. Look, Max, Canadians, they're healthy people. You know, eh? Just let it wilt in. Wow, sacre bleu, that's ready. I'm taking these guys off. When you see them next, they'll be meeting the steak. The potatoes, oh, I have an egg to poach. So let's do this. Let me give the potatoes another 2 minutes. Then we're ready. I can poach an egg and the whole thing comes together. All right, we're poaching an egg. It's gently simmering water with a little white vinegar in it.
Yeah, so we're actually up to 3 pans now because you're poaching an egg.
Couple tablespoons. And here's what we do. We spin the water, thereby making a minor vortex in the center. So then we take our egg that we've cracked into a small bowl and slip it in the middle. Like that. It swirls around and it keeps it from having those weird ass stringy long legs that you don't want because it doesn't look good on your poached egg. And this will now cook over the next 2 to 3 minutes to get to the perfect spot. We want a firm white, but a soft, beautifully gorgeous runny yolk. And any little stringy pieces.
Most of the time in the morning, if I'm making a breakfast sandwich, I just cheat with one of those little microwave trays. You put the eggs in, throw it in the microwave, get it back out, and you've got like something that looks like it comes on an egg McMuffin.
Like that. You can either do that or when it comes out, a little pair of scissors to clean it up. If you want to be fancy about it. If you don't care, then you don't care. And while we're waiting for that, let me just talk about this. This is hollandaise. Look, I can make hollandaise. I can make it from scratch 2 ways over a double boiler and in a blender. Recipe is on the website if you want it. This is packaged. Sometimes you don't have to, and I think packaged hollandaise is a pretty darn good stand-in. All it is the powder mix, milk, and butter. I add extra lemon juice to tang it up a bit.
Newsflash for everybody watching this. Unless you watch somebody make hollandaise to order on your buffet line at your local brunch place, your favorite restaurant's hollandaise is Knorr hollandaise in a tin. You buy them, restaurants, we buy them in 10-pound tins. You make a redonkulous amount of hollandaise from it. I think after culinary school, I've had to make hollandaise probably 4 times from scratch. Most of the time, it's opening up a powder because not that we can't do it. It's that, well, we can't do it. Hollandaise breaks when it's real hollandaise. You have to make more of it. You have to make it like more often. You have to make it throughout the service to keep it fresh. It doesn't hold well. I know there's all kinds of tricks. Everybody's got their own trick. It only works for them. They try to share it with you. You can't get it to work. But the powdered stuff holds without breaking. It's got some stabilizing agents in it.
I'll put a little salt and pepper in, and that is ready to go. We're happening. If I get my little Japanese guy, come under gently. You can see the yolk is soft, yes, but so is still some of the white, and you don't want that. So set them back in. That's going to be a beautiful poached egg. We're there. Firm white, soft yolk, take it out, just set it on this paper towel right here. I'll put it back in the water for about 13 seconds when I need it. But let me take the water away, bring this pan with the vegetables, sizzling, and we'll do this. We'll make a spot off to the side, crank the heat, give it about 20 seconds to get hot, a little bit extra oil there, because that's where the beef is going, and in we go, just like this.
Normally you would do this the other way when cooking some kind of meat, because you would have the fond left over from the steak. You would deglaze a bit and you get that flavor in your vegetables. You won't get that with a nonstick pan. The meat's too small to do that. Yada, yada, yada. I understand what he's doing. He's just doing this to cut down on the dishes, basically, cooking it with the vegetables and to, mix them in with each other.
This around, you want to separate the pieces. But I'm telling you, if this takes more than a minute to cook, you're doing something wrong. You don't have enough heat, you've cut your steak too thick. Look, it's halfway done. Now you can start to incorporate with the vegetables, like a few pieces, still with a little pink on them, but you smell that Worcester coming up in a good way. All right, this is there. Now it's time for the cheese, and it's very simple. A couple pieces of provolone on top. Wow. All right, I'm gonna put the meat on top. I'm gonna take this away. I'm gonna get a bowl and we're gonna plate. Bowl, first thing in, a little mound of potatoes. Second thing in, oh my God, some of this business. Look at that. Cheese mountain. Drop the egg. Remember what I said? 13 seconds. It's still warm. Just gonna give it a quick little heat up and it comes out. Put it on a towel. You don't want it too wet. Nestle the kid right on top. And last but not least, remember the hollandaise. Remember the Alamo. A final few grinds of pepper. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Philly cheesesteak hash, courtesy of White Spot in Vancouver, Canada. And us. And the only way to get into this would be like that.
Nice. His egg yolk was runny. The presentation on this looks pretty good. And I understand the two pans now. You got the hash, because it's not all mixed together. You have the 2 layers. So right now, everything he's done looks real good. Let's see if he's going to taste it, because there's still a minute and a half left. See if he has anything to say.
Let's have a bite, shall we? Oh, you got to get potato. You got to get some of the whole shooting match. Okay, I got to go for it. Oh, Canada. If there's any kids in the room right now, earmuffs. 3, 2, 1. Oh, holy fucking shit. Balls. This is goddamn amazing.
Okay, so he says it's amazing. The look on his face, though, when he put it in his mouth, had that serious look of either it tastes horrible, what did I do? Which I don't think it would, watching what he did, unless somebody swapped out his herbs and spices for something else. I think it was good. I think that was just a serious, this is good look on his face. I'm very happy with this breakfast, watching it. The fact that it's Canadian really ups the ante for me. I appreciate you, Sam, the cooking guy. I'm glad you did a good job at this. Please continue giving us amazing videos. It's hard doing reactions to you because you don't shit the bed. So everything, when I see you pop up, I know it's going to be a positive video. It's going to be uplifting. All I can do is just add a little commentary and my point of view on what you do. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great afternoon.